One body, 10 slits, one punch, one kick, zero fuck, zero shit. Got a twig, I got a stick. Shoot a movie, Uzi.
What's up? Yes, I'm back. I have like 5-6 videos that have been recorded, just not edited and put up, because as we've established, I'm very bad at uploading. But yes, today I'm filming yet another video. I don't know when this will come out, but I filmed it on Remembrance Day of 2022, which is a weird timing to film a video. I was currently a little sick. I don't know why. But today, sorry, my brain is off. Today I'm going to be filming a video of a creepy 60s sex ed film. Great times, great times. I've seen the 1980s Irish sex ed video, but apparently there's a part 2 to that. So we might end up watching both parts in this video. We'll see. But yes. Alright, let's get into watching this. I don't know what to expect. This it's gonna be concerning. I don't know what to expect.
Today, everybody tells us we should talk about sex to our children, but nobody tells us just how.
I'm a nerd when it comes to talking about sex with my children. A few bad starts have scared me off completely.
Do you have children, man? Because you don't seem like the kind of person that would have kids. You seem like the kind of person that would steal them. But, you know. What's with this, horror movie Nickelodeon looking thing here? Also, yeah. I'm eating sausage rolls. What is with this, it's like something out of Nickelodeon, but also something that, would be posted somewhere on, The Shining, like a Shining remake or something. Who knows? Why did they give so long on the parent-to-child section, but didn't give so much, gave 0.2 seconds for the about sex section? Also, who are these people? They look so professional. I don't think I want to be taught sex by businessmen.
In this film, we are going to discuss quite frankly the things that are normal and to be expected in the development of children in relation to sex.
Mary, the baby doesn't come out of your navel. Let me tell you how it is.
I'm very, very concerned. And I also get what it means by creepy, because this gives off a whole, creepy, I feel uncomfortable. It's, yeah, 30 seconds in and I'm already ugh, yep. That's how this is going today. Lovely.
There's a special opening just in front of the place where you have your BM. It's very...
I'm sorry, what? What is BM? Is that something I should be learning? What is that? What is BM? I feel like I should know this, but I don't. What the fuck is BM? I'm not even gonna look it up, because I'm...
very, very tiny in a little girl, but as you grow, it grows too, right?
Yeah, ha 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 ha. Ah, I'm sorry, can we just replay what that woman just said?
Very tiny in a little girl, but as you grow, it grows too.
You don't have to explain that. You don't have to explain that. Just... Why can't they explain sex like normal people, man? Jesus Christ.
Right along with the rest of you.
Some of you may become somewhat uncomfortable as parts of this film unfold.
Yep. Yeah, I can agree with you there. I'm very uncomfortable man with glasses. Very uncomfortable.
But I think if you listen carefully, you will agree that the concepts will contribute to the rearing of a mature person.
Mature? Do they not know how to say mature, or is this or is that how Americans say mature? Because I've seen a lot of American, videos from Americans and stuff, and I'm fairly certain they say mature like everybody else. Who knows? But that's a weird way to say mature, dude. Also, are his glasses tinted? They are. I think they're tinted brown. How are they working for what you need them to work for? I don't understand. I think he might be wearing actual sunglasses.
Who has a healthy, responsible attitude toward the sexual side of his life.
Every so often I get a strong sex urge, and the only way I can take care of it is to masturbate.
Can we just establish? For 2 seconds, can we go back and listen to that one more time? Just one more time.
Every so often I get a strong sex urge, and the only way I can take care of it is to masturbate.
That hesitation. The hesitation. I mean, why did you hesitate? You knew you had to say it anyway. Like, oh god. I feel so bad for this kid. My god. I'm so glad this kid is probably like, I don't know, 80 by now, so he's either real old or he's dead. But I feel bad for this. I feel bad for him. I feel bad.
And when I do, I feel awful. It's just like...
What? I'm sorry, hold on. So you have a strong sexual urge. You give into it by masturbating, and you feel bad? Is that, like, because of the guilt that they put into kids of, like, masturbating's a sin? I hope that's what it is, because, like, if not, you're doing something wrong, bro. Like, you just are, man. You just are.
Like I've committed a crime or something.
What are you doing, man? Like, what are you masturbating to that makes you feel like you're, like, masturbating's a crime? What the fuck? I am very concerned for this man. I feel like this man is to be on some kind of watch list. Jesus Christ.
And it worries me, and I say, well, I won't do it anymore. And when I do, it goes away for a while, and I come back and do it again.
Yeah, because it's normal. It's a normal urge. I feel bad for these kids, man. I feel bad for them. Being taught because of, like, fucking Catholic people and shit. That, like, a simple urge like that is a bad thing. Like, no. No. Like, man. The best way I've heard it described is, how do you expect your love life with your partner to be good if you don't know yourself? So, like, how do you expect you and your partner to have a fun sex life if you have no idea what you like? That's one of the main reasons masturbating is, like, a good thing. Not just for, like, you know, urge-related things. It's, like, I don't know, to help you understand more about your body. Yeah. That's why it's not a bad thing. You're learning about yourself. Like, I don't see how this is a problem. And also, if it was a sin, why the fuck would God make it that we had the urge? Why would God give us the urge and the temptation if we're not supposed to have it? Like, and I get it, like, testing us to see if we're supposed to be, like, up in his heaven, but, like, come on, man. Like, come on. Get real.
When I do control myself for a while, I end up with a wet dream.
George, I'm really pleased that
Exactly. Like, you're fucking stupid. Like, oh, fuck, man. Christian people are stupid. Like, bro. And I'm only saying this is, like, demonized masturbation because of religious reasons and stuff. So that's what I'm assuming. This is, like, it's religious, and most of the time it was either, like, Catholics or Christians. So I'm just, you know, guessing.
you can tell me about this. Perhaps it's because we've known each other for so long.
They're not... Hold on. He didn't just... That guy did not just say all of that to this old guy. No, something about that does not feel right. Jesus, that feels creepy.
We've talked about the importance of answering the questions of the curious child. Equally important is how we react to his behavior. As children get a little older, there is a behavior pattern that is common to almost all boys and a large number of girls. I'm referring, of course, to masturbation. The only...
Yeah. Yeah. The reason that becomes a thing when you're older is hormones, man. Like, oh my god. You have hormones go through your body that literally make you want to do all sorts of shit. Like, for fuck's sake. Oh my god. I'm genuinely getting annoyed at this. Like, I get it's from the 1960s, and like, they didn't know as much as they know now, but like, still, Jesus fucking Christ. Leave the kid alone.
The only thing I can tell you as a doctor is that what you're doing is just part of growing up.
You're a doctor. That guy's a doctor. And yes, he's right. It's just part of growing up. It's fucking normal. But no, religions and stuff demonize it. It's... Why the fuck? Why? Just why?
It's something you probably will do once in a while, whether you think it's a good idea or not. I hope I can reassure you so that you aren't concerned.
Yeah, and he's only concerned because of religions telling him it's not a good thing to be doing. It's sinful, and it's the opposite of self-control, and then he thinks he's doing something wrong. When he's not, he's just being a fucking teenager. Fuck's sakes.
From a medical point of view, George, I only wish society could look at it in its proper light.
Thank you. Thank you. Damn, he's not as creepy as a doctor as I thought he was. He's actually rather smart.
There are two basic objectives to which we would like to draw your attention.
Two basic objectives to masturbation? Isn't there only one? Like, isn't there only one objective? I don't know, let's see.
First, note the many things that you should not do because they can be damaging to a healthy attitude.
It may sound funny to you, but boy, when I change my pants, I'd like to crawl in that locker. I feel so undeveloped.
That's not so.
Ah, right, yep. So, my brain has just realized where we're at. We're at the, good old locker room conversation of, holy shit, that guy's matured more than me. We're at that level, okay. We're at comparing dick sizes now. Lovely, alright. Why that needed to be in this, I have no idea. Also, how that has anything to do with what was mentioned before, I'm lost.
So funny. Before we moved here, I used to go to a school where we had to go swimming in the Bear. I was so embarrassed about the size of my penis that we used to drown.
I'm sorry, what school in the fucking 60s? I need to hear that again, because I can't believe that man just said that. There's no way.
Before we moved here, I used to go to a school where we had to go swimming in the Bear.
No, he did say that. What kind of school, even if it's in the 1960s, makes them swim naked? That makes no fucking sense! That screams pedophilia. My fucking god.
I was so embarrassed about the size of my penis that we used to dread the days we had to go swimming.
Okay. I feel like this problem is mainly just a guy thing of guys caring about it, because most women I've met don't care. It is mainly just you guys that care. Like, I don't know. Like, but I get that some people do care, and they make it a big thing. I don't see why it's a big thing. It's not a big thing at all. But, yeah, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
Even though it was my best sport, I was good at it too, like you. Boy, what I wouldn't have given for a fig leaf, even from a small tree. What?
I feel like that's supposed to mean something, but I'm too uncultured to know what the hell that means. But I'm gonna assume that means bigger penis. I'm gonna assume that's what that means.
What parents should do is to reassure their boy that his eventual physical appearance has little to do with the vast differences that occur at puberty.
So pretty much that you want parents to tell their kid, don't worry, you'll grow up? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. That's funny. Sorry, I can just imagine the amount of fucking teenagers in high school in the fucking 60s bitching to their parents about the fact their dick's too small. And their parents just being, you'll grow up. Like, fucking hell. Oh, fuck.
What's more, every boy should realize that the size of his genital organs has nothing to do with fertility.
I love how the man... I love what that meant. I love that sentence the man just used. Hold on, let's just go back.
Of his genital organs.
Genital organs. Wow. That's a new one for me. That's a new one for me. Jesus fucking Christ.
Has nothing to do with fertility or his...
Well, no shit. It's got nothing to do with fertility. Fucking hell. Jeez, were they that stupid back in the 60s that they thought a guy with a small dick couldn't have children? Did they actually think that back in the 60s? Because if so, wow, that's fucking sad.
Capacity as a male.
I never had a good enough.
So pretty much saying a guy with a small dick is still a man. Yeah. It's good. I'm glad they're actually, like, saying the obvious. Because the only reason they would need to state the obvious is if in the 60s they were genuinely that stupid. Also, what is this woman about to say? Also, this woman looks like the mum out of that 70s show. Just putting it out there.
Enough understanding myself to really explain things.
I don't even know at what age to start. When should I begin?
Whenever the fuck you want to. Like, I hate it when people put like an age bracket on this shit, or like they hear a story of a kid, and they're all just like, oh, "That's miles too young." It's like, really. I don't agree that, like, whatever the fucking, like, the child can make a decision for them fucking selves, man. Like, Jesus, let the kid make their own decisions.
When my kids ask me anything, I get butterflies in my stomach.
Why?
I suspect my husband does too. I know he does. He evades these discussions like the plague.
That's a weird sentence to say. However, I was about to say it's a weird sentence to say, but then I realized it's in the 1960s. So, however, it was in the 1960s. So the plague would definitely have, I don't know, been a problem, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why parents avoid conversations like that. The less you tell your child, the more your child is going to try to learn on their own. And in some cases, it's actually more damaging to your child to ignore the conversations than it is to have them. Like, you know, teach your children about safe sex or you will have a teen fucking pregnant child. Like, it's just how it is, man. Like, some conversations you gotta have. Like, damn.
Unless you're an extremely unusual audience, you will welcome some of this help. Because most people, parents or young people who are concerned about their own attitudes, have not in their own...
Okay, why does he keep saying attitudes? It's not an attitude. It's behavior.
...own lives had the opportunity to gain this kind of insight. Let me at this point make a clear-cut scientific statement.
Oh, a scientific statement. Okay. Paying attention now.
Masturbation is not harmful. The young child often plays with his genitals, and after puberty, masturbation is a common release mechanism for the sex drive.
True. But also, can we just, like, press pause for a second? Every time one of these fuckers speaks, they're always talking about the male in masturbation. Was it, like, uncommon in the 1960s for girls to do it too? I don't understand. I don't get why they keep talking about just, like, the males, but not the females. I don't know. Maybe they'll bring it up later, but yeah.
Now I would like to turn to an entirely different subject, one of particular interest to the girls, menstruation.
I love how all of this, like, masturbation conversation was about men, and the women's conversation is about periods. Of course, because it's the 1960s, and the only thing women are used for is bleeding and babies. Lovely. Thank you, guys.
There's been a real change in our approach to education about menstruation. It's hard to believe what grandmother experienced, but let's hear her story.
So let me get this straight. For masturbation, they bring in a teenage boy. For menstruation, they bring in a grandmother. I don't understand, man. This is fucking confusing.
I'll never forget when I was 14 years old. I went to the little outhouse on our farm. My new dress was stained and there was blood on my underclothes.
Underclothes. Did they just like... I have realized this. They went from calling them underclothes to underwear. I don't understand why they were called underclothes. And back in like the early 1960s and 1970s, showing any kind of like skin or revealing clothing was kind of only reserved for hookers and prostitutes, and like escorts and shit. So, or like the sinful and wicked. I don't understand how that happened. And now it's like very different. I don't understand.
I ran inside and showed my mother. And all she said was, "You're menstruating," and turned and walked away. I had to find out how to take care of myself from my cousin.
Were any of your girlfriends?
Yeah, that would have been a very common thing back in the day. Because it would have just been seen as a normal thing, and, you know, your parents don't want to deal with you. Like, a lot, and that's just, like, me being me. And then, like, early 1900s, a lot of people had to look after themselves because their parents were busy working and all sorts of shit. They didn't have time to raise their children. So their children had to raise themselves.
Told in advance by their mothers.
No, I'm afraid not. They were just as scared as I was.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because, you know, I was born female, I wasn't told of any of this type of shit. And, you know, like, growing up, all of the, like, girls in my class would talk about it together, and none of us really understood what the fuck we were talking about. But yeah, like, that kind of thing wasn't talked about very often. It's still not talked about. So I understand where she's coming from here, because it's not really talked about much in 21st century either, so...
Some of them had older sisters who told them, "One thing I was sure of, I would never let this happen to my daughter."
Exactly. Why? Hey, what the fuck? This is a very old photo, okay. Before we get into that photo, let's just go back to before that came out. Yeah, a lot of people, you know, having gone through this, are now, like, sex-positive parents because like, very positive of making sure their kids know what's going on with their bodies so that they don't get into situations like they did growing up. But yeah, it's a very common thing nowadays for this type of thing to be, you know, very common.
Never let this happen to my daughter.
And when did you first?
Oh wow, that was only up for like 2 seconds? Damn, I thought they were actually going to explain. So yeah, we have a young human now. Lovely.
Learn about menstrual periods.
Oh, I really can't remember.
Well, now that you are a woman of experience...
Now that you're a woman of experience, what does that even mean, bro?
Having had menstrual periods for several years, looking at the information that you received before you started, how would...
I wouldn't call that experienced, but, you know... But I don't know what classifies experience. Yeah.
Would you evaluate it?
I just always sort of seemed to know something about it, and I knew that I'd have them someday. I do remember, though, when I started to develop, my mother reminded me that I'd probably be starting soon, and that's when she went into the sort of information that you gave in the animation. Not as clearly as that, but I felt I knew what the score was. And then she did a very practical thing. She gave me a belt and a pad, and I was all set.
Sorry, a belt? Was that like a common thing back then? It was like belts? I don't know what's happening with the belt. Also, I know what this is, but I'm very intrigued as to why it's popping up now.
If there is no fertilization, menstruation occurs. Since the uterine lining, or that nesty place little Mary was told about, is not needed to nourish the fertilized egg, it is sloughed off This sloughing
Very accurate, very true, yes.
off of the broken down cells and blood from the lining of the uterus and their discharge through the vagina is what menstruation actually is.
Why are you showing an actual 8-year-old? This kid looks like they're like 8 years old. What the hell? What am I watching right now? Because if you can't tell, it looks like this kid's moving like up and down on this bed. They are. Why? Why are you? Why? Why? This is. I can't English. What the fuck?
Hi, Mom, what you got?
Hi, hon. A few personal things for myself. Whoop.
Is this like she's gonna like the kid's gonna find something and they're gonna have to explain what's going on? Is that what this is? I think that's what this is.
Mommy, what's this?
I was right. I was right. Also, the infamous pad. The infamous pad. Every 13-year-old's worst nightmare.
Well, I guess, honey, you're old enough now to understand these things.
I mean, yeah, I would say she's old enough to understand, but she does also look like she's about 9 years old and won't need this information for several more years, but still, it's good to teach them beforehand.
Those are sanitary pads for me, honey.
Right, yes, because back in the day they were called sanitary pads. They're not called it as often now, but yes, that's what they're supposed to be called. Yes. Yes. I've heard them be called sanitary pads or sanitary napkins, in other words, as well. I don't understand why they're called sanitary napkins by people. It makes no fucking sense, but still.
You know that mothers have a special place inside them where the...
It's not just mothers, so that's a bad place to start, but okay.
babies grow before they come out. Well, each month in a grown-up woman, a sort of soft nest.
In a grown-up woman. It's not how I would have worded that, but okay.
The place builds up. And some of the nest is blood. And if a woman is going to have a baby, she needs this nest for the baby to grow in. Now,
I mean, wording it like this, yeah, but it's probably best just to tell your kid outright. Not, like, sugarcoat it like this, because sugarcoating it, like, I get she's young, but don't sugarcoat it like this. Because parents sugarcoat shit like this, and they wonder why we don't actually know the, like, you know, specifics, and, like, the proper wording and shit. This is why, because parents sugarcoat shit.
now let me tell you what the pads are for. If no baby has started there.
This kid, I'm sorry, can we just watch that smile back?
Now let me tell you what the pads are for.
Kid is so excited to find out. Like, honey, your life is about to get shattered.
If no baby has started there, then...
Started? Sorry, started? If it's a nest, I would say if no baby's been planted there. Or something like that. Given the fact of how you're wording this. Jesus.
The blood in the nest isn't needed. And it just dribbles out of the vagina for a few days.
Dribbles out. That sentence in itself makes me uncomfortable. Jesus. Fucking hell. Word these things differently.
Here's a place where I want to make a brief comment about the influence of the advertising world in stimulating sexuality.
Ooh. I heard the advertising world stimulating and sexuality in one sentence, and I'm here. Let's go.
Sales pitches for titillating devices such as perfumes, clothes, makeup are designed to lure the young girl or her over-anxious parent into accepting this exaggerated emphasis on sexuality or sex appeal.
Where's this man going with this? Because I'm not sure how I like the way he's going with this.
As the standard, and the use of these devices is essential for competing sexually.
I mean, last time I checked, women don't use makeup to be more sexually appealing to other people. They do it as a confidence thing, but to make themselves feel more beautiful. But okay. Yep, okay.
And then a fresh new nest place starts building up. That's what the pads are for, to catch the blood.
Does it hurt?
It shouldn't.
I don't agree with that. If she says it shouldn't, making it seem like, okay, so if this human being, like when this human being gets her period, if she experiences cramps and things, you've now essentially told her that it's not normal. Unless she gets into that in the next 10 seconds and I've judged too quick. But I don't like how she worded that, how she answered that. It's not the answer I would have given.
Something that happens to every girl when she grows up.
Yeah, no, I have to let this slide. It's 1960. I have to let this very obvious gender answer slide.
Parents should recognize that the feelings of inferiority that develop at this stage can be lasting and damaging.
Inferiority? What the fuck? What is he on about?
For many years to come. Those who have hurdled this period successfully can look back comfortably and with amusement. But from the child's point of view, the problems can be serious business.
It adds to the marriage, makes it more complete. The adolescent boy has other problems, too. I'm talking about his problems in growth and development.
Okay. They jumped really, fast into that just then, but okay.
Which can be as disturbing to him as his sex pressures.
Jesus. Also, Jesus! Okay.
Parents don't talk freely about sexual matters with their children. They can't. They've been reared in such a way that it's a bugaboo.
What do you mean they can't? No, it's not that they can't, it's that they won't.
They don't have enough facts. Parents
They don't have enough facts because they're not looking for the facts. They don't want to.
don't know when or how to begin.
Yes, they don't know because they aren't trying to know. They don't want to know.
Until when you're grown up, it gets to be just about this size.
Is this woman telling her daughter how big? I'm very confused right now. Also, okay then.
Now, when the baby's ready to be born, it stretches up to be about this size.
I mean, she's not wrong, but why are we having this conversation? This conversation doesn't need to happen. This is one of many things that you don't need to tell your kids. It's something they work out on their own.
Just big enough for the baby to slip through head first. Then after the baby's born, it goes back to its regular size.
That hand thing? No! I don't know why, but that made me so uncomfortable.
Parents should be aware of this, that this sort of pressure frequently helps set an artificial pace for the teenager. A young girl who is not yet ready or really interested in these devices may often feel that something is wrong with her since she's not really interested in these things when other girls are. On the other hand,
I don't know what he's talking about. Devices. This man's not seriously talking about sex toys, right? He's not talking about that, is he? Please don't let him be talking about that right now.
And many other girls who acquire the desired allure are as yet by no means mature in other ways.
Or is he back to talking about makeup and all that shit? If he's back to talking about makeup and all that shit, I don't see how that connects, but okay.
And they find the stage set for many problems they aren't ready to handle. They don't do it that way anymore. Perhaps you've heard some of the old wives' tales about don't take a bath, don't wash your hair, don't eat pickles while you're menstruating. Now, I would like...
Why? Why? You didn't explain why. Also, that's real? What the fuck? That doesn't seem like... I've never heard of any of those, but obviously 1960s I probably wouldn't have heard of any of those. They'd probably be like, I don't know, they would probably been like taken out of circulation very fast.
I'd like to see if we can summarize what we have presented. Sex education as such is not difficult. It is only uncomfortable for parents because of their backgrounds and lack of know-how.
I mean, yeah, that and because no parent wants to tell their child about sex, because it's a very private thing. But, yeah, no, sex education is not difficult if you actually, try.
From our experiences with many people, we have tried to bring out misconceptions and facts not well understood and tried to explain them on a scientific basis.
Fair.
It should be evident the advantages of starting early with explanations to children.
Yeah. Some of this is actually kind of true. I don't know why it says creepy, because most of this wasn't creepy, it was factual.
If you ask most parents what they really want for their children, the answer fundamentally is a good, satisfying, happy life.
Yeah.
If we begin early to create an atmosphere of understanding in which the child is allowed to express his real feelings.
His real feelings? Not their real feelings, as in both men and female feelings? I feel like this guy only really cares about men's feelings, although it is 1960 and people really only cared about how men felt. But, you know.
We give honest answers to his questions. We're well on the road to the kind of parent-child relationship that fosters...
So, yeah, can I just, put out there? I'm putting out there real fast. That they only discussed the masturbation thing when it came to men, and when it came to what they were teaching women in sex ed, it was essentially about having kids and menstruating. So I was right with what I said earlier in the fucking thing. In the 1960s, they only cared about women being bleeding birthing machines. I was correct. Wow, I was hoping to not be right.
...fosters the development of true maturity. Problems related to sex are not isolated problems, but are, for all but the rare individual, a part of some greater difficulty.
Uh-oh.
Good communication between parent and child is one of the best ways of preventing problems.
That is true. Oh, well, I think that's a little strange. You know, obviously it's 1960s, and back in the 1960s no one really gave a shit. But I would definitely say sorry about that. I'm very uncomfortable with what I've just seen. I'm very uncomfortable. Sorry, my friends are talking on Discord right now. I must have forgotten to put my Discord on Do Not Disturb. So that's my video for today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully, whenever this goes out, I will try my absolute hardest to get this out as soon as possible. But again, I can't make any guarantees. Okay, before another Discord message comes up, I'm gonna go. Goodbye.